Sometimes the most beautiful moments in life are the ones you never see coming. And sometimes the ugliest truths are hidden just beneath them, stitched into the fabric of what you thought was love. Here's my truth. I bought my dream dress for my son's wedding, and I saw the bride wearing it. The day I first saw the dress was a Tuesday. I remember because Tuesdays were my quiet days. The house, which usually echoed with the memory of my son Liam's laughter and the heavy footsteps of my late husband Michael, was just a shell of gentle sounds. The hum of the refrigerator, the sigh of the oak floorboards in the hallway, the distant chime of the town clock. I'd been a widow for 5 years, and in that time I'd learned the language of solitude. It wasn't lonely, not always. It was a space I had carefully furnished with routine and small comforts. But Liam's engagement to Celia 6 months ago had begun to fill that space with a new golden light. It was a light I leaned into, grateful for its warmth. I was scrolling through my tablet, looking at mother of the groom dresses. They were all so safe. Beige, lavender, chiffon waterfalls that made every woman look like a slightly anxious cloud. I didn't want to be a cloud. I wanted to feel like myself again. Not just Liam's mom, not just Michael's widow, just Maeve. That's when the advertisement appeared. It wasn't on one of the big bridal sites. It was for a small, independent designer in the city, a woman named Alara who worked out of a sunlit studio in a converted warehouse. Her tagline was, "For the woman who is a guest of honor, not a background character." I clicked, and there it was. It wasn't a gown, it was a statement, a deep oceanic emerald green in heavy silk crepe. The cut was deceptively simple, a sleek, sleeveless column that would fall straight to the floor, but it was the detail that stopped my heart. From the right shoulder, a cascade of delicate, abstract lace, the color of aged bronze, swept diagonally across the bodice and melted away at the hip. It was art. It was bold. It was, the description stated, a one-of-a-kind design. Only one would ever be made. The price tag was a number that made me physically draw back from the screen. It was more than I had spent on a single item of clothing in my entire life, including my own wedding dress 40 years ago. But I could see myself in it. I could see Michael's slow, approving whistle. I could see Liam's proud smile. I could feel the weight of the silk, the whisper of it against my legs as I walked him down the aisle. This wasn't just a dress. It was an armor I would wear to step back into a world of color. For a week, I thought of nothing else. The dress lived in my mind. I'd be washing dishes and see the emerald green in the soap bubbles. I'd be in the garden and see the bronze lace in the veins of a fallen leaf. It was an obsession, quiet and deep. The practical part of me, the part that clipped coupons and repaired hems, argued fiercely. But another voice, one I hadn't heard in years, whispered back, "You have saved, you have scrimped, you have been careful for a lifetime. For this one day, for your boy, be bold." I called Alara's studio. Her voice was warm with a slight European accent I couldn't place. Yes, the dress was still available. Yes, it was unique. She had just finished the design and had posted it. I was the first to inquire. "It's a special piece," she said. "It needs a woman with the presence to carry it. It's not for someone who wants to fade away." That was the sentence that decided it. I didn't want to fade away. I gave her my measurements, my credit card number, and felt a dizzying mix of terror and exhilaration. When I hung up, my hands were trembling. I had done it. I had bought my dream. The delivery, Alara said, would take 8 weeks, handmade. The wedding was in 3 months. It was perfect. I told no one, not Liam, not my sister Margot. This was my secret, my beautiful emerald green secret. I would reveal it at the final fitting, a surprise for everyone, especially for Celia. That was my first mistake. Keeping a secret, I've learned, is like planting a seed in the dark. You never know what will grow. The weeks of waiting were a sweet agony. Life took on a new rhythm, punctuated by thoughts of the dress. My relationship with Celia was pleasant. We were polite, careful with each other. She was a decade older than Liam, a sleek, ambitious graphic designer with a perfectly curated life. She was always kind to me, but it was a practiced kindness, like something she'd read about in a manual on how to integrate into a new family. She called me Maeve, never Mum, which was fine. She remembered my birthday with an elegant candle. She asked after my garden. But our conversations were like skimming stones across a deep lake. They never sank below the surface. Liam was besotted. His whole being lit up when he spoke of her. "He's just so capable, Mum," he'd say, as if that were the highest virtue. And she was. She had their wedding planned to a military precision. The color scheme, ivory, sage, and gold. The menu, herb-crusted salmon or wild mushroom Wellington. The minimalist floral arrangements. My role, she assured me with a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes, was simply to enjoy the day. She had a team for everything. I tried to be the easy, accommodating mother-in-law. I offered my help, but it was always gently deflected. "Oh, we've got it covered, Maeve, but thank you." The "we" was always her and Liam, a unit I was conspicuously outside of. I told myself it was modern, that I should be grateful not to be burdened with tasks. But it felt less like a relief and more like an erasure. When the package from Alara finally arrived, it felt like a rebellion. It came in a long, slender box of thick cardboard tied with bronze silk ribbon. I carried it to my bedroom like it was holy, my heart hammering against my ribs. I didn't open it immediately. I made a pot of tea. I lit the vanilla-scented candle Michael had always liked. I took a bath. I wanted to savor the moment, to make a ceremony of it. Finally, as the afternoon sun slanted through my window, painting stripes of gold on the hardwood floor, I untied the ribbon. The silk crepe whispered as I lifted it from the tissue paper. It was heavier than I'd imagined, cool and liquid in my hands. The emerald color was even more profound in reality. It held the light like a deep forest pool. The bronze lace was a work of art, intricate yet strong. I held it against myself, standing before my full-length mirror. Tears, sudden and hot, sprang to my eyes. It wasn't just that it fit. Ilara was a magician. It was that it transformed. The woman in the mirror wasn't just a widow, a mother. She was elegant. She was substantial. She had a story. The dress didn't wear me. I inhabited it. For the first time in years, I saw a future version of myself that I actually wanted to meet. I carefully hid it in the back of my wardrobe, behind my winter coats. It became my talisman. On difficult days, when the silence of the house felt heavy, or when a call with Celia left me feeling vaguely inadequate, I would open the wardrobe and just touch the silk. It was my promise of a beautiful day. The wedding was a month away when the invitation for my final fitting came, not from a bridal shop, but from Ilara's studio. "To ensure perfection," the note said. I was nervous. What if it didn't look good in the harsh light of day? What if I'd been foolish? The studio was everything I dreamed. High ceilings, exposed brick, bolts of glorious fabric leaning against walls like tired artists. Ilara was a woman in her 60s with a wild gray braid and eyes that missed nothing. She helped me into the dress, her hands firm and knowing. She stood back, head tilted. A long, silent moment passed. Then she nodded, once, decisively. Yes, this is it. This is the woman I saw when I designed it. She pinned a tiny tuck at the waist. You have a quiet strength. The dress mirrors that. It does not shout, it states. I floated home. The dress was a statement, my statement. 2 weeks before the wedding, Celia called. "Maeve, I have the most wonderful idea," she trilled. Her voice was higher than usual, a note of forced excitement in it. "I've been so secretive about my wedding dress, and I feel terrible. I want to have a special reveal. Just you and me, a mother-daughter moment, the day before the wedding, at my place. What do you say?" I was deeply touched. This felt like the breakthrough I'd been hoping for, a true gesture of inclusion. "I'd love that, Celia. That sounds perfect." "Great, it's a date then. Oh, and Maeve." "Yes?" "Wear something nice. We'll make it special." I smiled, thinking of my secret. "I will." The day before the wedding arrived, gray and drizzly, a typical autumn morning. I chose a simple but elegant cream knit dress and my pearl earrings. I was nervous, but a happy nervous. This was the beginning of our new family. Celia's apartment was a monument to modern taste. All clean lines, monochrome art, and orchids that looked too perfect to be real. She greeted me with air kisses, smelling of expensive citrusy perfume. "Come in, come in! I'm so excited. I've been bursting to show you." She led me to her spacious, minimalist living room. A champagne flute sat on the glass coffee table, already poured. "For you," she said. "Now, you wait here. No peeking." She disappeared into her bedroom. I heard the rustle of fabric, a small laugh. I took a sip of champagne, the bubbles sharp on my tongue. I felt a genuine warmth for her in that moment. She was trying. We were both trying. The bedroom door opened. "Close your eyes, Maeve," she called. I obeyed, a smile playing on my lips. I heard the soft swish of fabric, the sound of her bare feet on the polished concrete floor. She positioned herself in front of me. "Okay," she said, her voice ripe with theatrical delight. "Open them!" I opened my eyes, and the world stopped. There she stood, in a gown of pristine, blinding white, a sleek, sleeveless column of silk crepe. From the right shoulder, a cascade of delicate, abstract lace swept diagonally across the bodice and melted away at the hip. My dress, my exact, unique, one-of-a-kind emerald dream, but in white. Every detail was identical. The cut, the fall, the specific, unusual pattern of the bronze-colored lace against the white. It was a photocopy, a ghostly, devastating inversion of what was hanging in my wardrobe at home. The air left my lungs. The champagne flute nearly slipped from my hand. A roaring started in my ears, drowning out the soft jazz playing from her hidden speakers. Celia beamed, spreading her arms wide. "So, what do you think? Isn't it just the most divine, unique thing you've ever seen?" I tried to speak. My mouth was desert dry. All I could do was stare, my eyes tracing the cursed familiar lines of the lace I had studied for hours, the lace I had run my fingers over in reverence. The word was a croak. I tried again. "It's very distinctive. Where did you find it?" "Oh, a wonderful little independent designer. Alara? Her studio is just fabulous. I found her online. It was fate, really. I knew the second I saw it that it was the one. And the best part?" She turned back to me, her eyes glittering with triumph she mistook for joy. "She told me it was a one-of-a-kind, that no one else in the world would have it." The floor seemed to tilt beneath me. The perfectly composed room swum in my vision. No one else in the world would have it. Time in that moment became a sticky, slow-moving thing. Celia was still talking, her voice a distant buzz. She was twirling slightly, the white silk flaring. "I just love how strong it makes me feel. It's not a fluffy princess dress, you know. It's a statement." A statement? Alara's word, the same word. A cold, clear lucidity broke through the shock. It was like being plunged into icy water, every sense sharpened. The scent of her perfume was now cloying, chemical. The gray light from the window was flat and cruel on the white fabric. I could hear the faint, steady drip of a tap from her kitchen. I took another sip of champagne to wet my throat, to buy a second. The glass was shockingly cold in my hand. I had to say something normal. If I didn't, the scream building in my chest would erupt. "It's breathtaking, Celia," I managed, and my voice sounded almost convincing to my own ears, a calm, older woman's voice. "Truly unique. You must have ordered it ages ago." "Oh, not so long, actually," she said, smoothing the skirt with a proprietary hand. "I was a bit of a last-minute decision maker. I ordered it, let me think, about 9-10 weeks ago? I got so lucky she could do it in time. She's an absolute genius." 9 or 10 weeks? I had ordered mine 12 weeks ago. Alara told me I was the first to inquire. The seed of my secret, planted in the dark, had sprouted into this monstrous white flower. A coincidence. It had to be a coincidence. A terrible, cosmically cruel coincidence. Designers reuse elements, don't they? Perhaps the lace was a signature. Perhaps the cut was a style she favored. But Alara's voice echoed in my memory. "It's a one-of-a-kind design. Only one will ever be made." "You look pale, Maeve," Celia said, her head tilting with a show of concern. "Are you all right? Was it too much of a surprise?" The kindness in her voice felt like a needle. Was it genuine? Or was it a performance, a layer of the game? I looked into her carefully made-up eyes, searching for a flicker of guile, of malice. I saw only the pleased, self-satisfied glow of a bride showing off her prize. "Just overwhelmed," I said, forcing a smile that felt like a crack in porcelain. "It's so beautiful, and you look beautiful in it." That part at least was true. The dress was a masterpiece. On her, it looked sleek, modern, powerful. On me, it would have looked, what? Regal? Mature? Now I would never know. "You're so sweet," she said, coming over to squeeze my arm. "This is why I wanted to share it with you first. I knew you'd appreciate it. You have such classic taste." The subtext hung in the air, unspoken. Unlike my mother, who would have wanted something fussy. Unlike my friends, who wouldn't understand. I finished the champagne, the alcohol doing nothing to warm the chill in my bones. I made my excuses, a last-minute errand, a headache coming on. I think my performance was believable, the happy, flustered mother of the groom, overcome with emotion. The drive home was a blur. The drizzle had turned to a steady rain, and the windscreen wipers beat a hypnotic, frantic rhythm. Liar, 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 liar. My mind was a whirlwind of fractured thoughts and images. The emerald green in my dark wardrobe, the blinding white in her bright apartment, the identical fall of lace. I walked into my silent house and went straight to my bedroom. I opened the wardrobe. There it hung, a pool of deep forest night. I took it out and laid it on my bed, the bronze lace shimmering under the light. I compared it inch by inch to the mental photograph I had just taken. It was exact. The placement of every swirl in the lace, the angle of the diagonal sweep, the point where it dissolved at the hip. It wasn't a similar design, it was a replica. Coincidence did not work this way. Two possibilities remained, each more painful than the last. One, Alara had lied to us both. She had sold the same unique design twice, a cynical, greedy betrayal. 2, Celia had seen my dress. But how? I had told no one. I had never mentioned Alara's name. The dress had never left my house. Unless a memory, faint and unwelcome, surfaced. 3 months ago, Celia had popped over unexpectedly to drop off some wedding stationery samples. I'd been in the garden. I'd let her in, my hands muddy. "Make yourself a tea, love. I'll just be a minute," I'd called and gone to wash up. Had she been in my bedroom? No, why would she? But the tablet, my tablet, had been on the kitchen table open. Had I left the Alara website up? My heart clenched. I was so careful, but had I, in a moment of distraction, left a window open to my secret? Or was it something else? Something darker and more deliberate? I had to know. I found the receipt in my jewelry box. With trembling fingers, I dialed Alara's studio number. It went to voicemail, a recorded message with her warm, accented voice. "Thank you for calling Alara Ekelier. We are with clients at the moment. Please leave a message." I hung up. I couldn't say this to a machine. I spent the evening in a state of quiet paralysis. Liam called, his voice buoyant. "Mom, Celia said you saw the dress. Isn't it insane? So her, right?" "It's certainly something," I said, each word an effort. "She was so happy you liked it, said you were really touched. Okay, big day tomorrow. Get some rest. Love you." "Love you too, darling." I did not sleep. I sat in my armchair by the window, watching the streetlights make halos in the rain. The wedding was tomorrow. What was I to do? Wear my emerald dress and look like a grotesque, color-switched twin to the bride? The humiliation would be spectacular. It would derail the entire day. Liam would be devastated. I would become the story, the jealous, competitive mother who tried to upstage the bride. Or I could wear something else, one of the safe lavender cloud dresses I had rejected. I could swallow my dream, my statement, and fade into the background as originally intended. Let Celia have her unique, one-of-a-kind moment. The moment she may have stolen. The injustice of it was a physical pain, a hot stone lodged beneath my ribs. As the first faint light of dawn bleached the sky, I made a decision. I could not go into this day with this poison inside me. I had to know the truth. Even if it broke me, I had to know before I walked into that church. At 8:30 a.m., as soon as I imagined her studio would open, I called Alara again. This time, she answered. "Alara Atelier?" "Ilara, it's Maeve Sullivan. You made an emerald silk crepe dress for me for my son's wedding." A pause. "Yes, Maeve, of course. Is everything all right with the dress?" "The dress is perfect," I said, my voice strangely steady. "But I have a question, a delicate one. The design, the one-of-a-kind design. Have you made that exact dress for anyone else? Specifically in white for a bride?" The silence on the other end was long and heavy. I could hear the faint sound of traffic in the background from her end. "Maeve," she said finally, and her voice had changed. The warm, artistic lilt was gone, replaced by a weary, professional caution. "My client consultations are confidential. You know that." "Please," I whispered, the steadiness cracking. "Please, the wedding is today. My future daughter-in-law, she showed me her dress yesterday. It is the same, the exact same dress. She says she ordered it from you 9 weeks ago." Another silence, then a soft sigh. "I cannot discuss another client's order." "Did she," I asked, the words like glass in my throat, "did she mention me? Did she mention my dress?" Ilara did not answer directly, but her next words were a confirmation more damning than any direct statement. "She came to the studio for a consultation. She had a photograph on her phone of a dress. She asked if I could recreate it in white for a wedding gown. She said it was a design she had seen and fallen in love with. She was very insistent on the details being precise. The room tilted again. I gripped the edge of the table. "A photograph," I repeated, dull. "Yes. When was this?" I heard the rustle of pages, a ledger being opened. The consultation was 10 weeks and 2 days ago. 2 days after my final fitting, after the dress was complete, after I had stood in her studio transformed. Celia had never been in my house. She had never seen my tablet. She had followed me. The sound of the rain outside seemed to magnify, filling the silence left by Alara's words. She had a photograph on her phone. Did she— my voice was a dry leaf crumbling. Did she say where she saw the design? Alara's sigh was heavy with a regret I now understood. It wasn't just professional caution, it was complicity. She did not, and I am an artist, Maeve, but I am also a business. A wedding gown is a significant commission. She was very clear that it had to be identical. I assumed it was a design she had seen in a magazine, perhaps from another designer she admired. She paid a premium for the rush and the replication. She paused. When I realized later, from the name and the occasion, I felt a sickness. But by then, both dresses were delivered. My hands were tied by confidentiality and contract. "You could have called me," I said, the words flat, empty of accusation because the betrayal was so much larger than hers. "And say what?" Alara's voice softened, edged with genuine pain. "That your son's bride had copied your dress? It was a terrible position. I am so very sorry. For what it is worth, the dress belongs to you. You are its spirit. On her, it is just a costume." It was no comfort. The dress was ruined. The day was ruined. The fragile, hopeful future I'd imagined with Celia was ashes. I thanked Alara, a hollow, automatic politeness, and hung up. I sat at my kitchen table, the cold from the marble seeping into my bones. The evidence was laid out before me, not in photographs or documents, but in the chilling logic of it. Celia had followed me to the fitting. She must have waited outside, seen me leave with the distinct long garment bag. She had taken a picture, and then, with cold calculation, she had gone to the same artist and commissioned my joy to be rewoven into her triumph. Why? The answer, when it came, was so simple it was pathetic. It wasn't about loving the dress, it was about ownership, about dominance. In the world Celia curated, there could only be one statement, one strong woman, one unique centerpiece. By taking my dress, she wasn't just securing a beautiful gown, she was erasing my moment, my identity, my reemergence. She was ensuring that on the day she joined our family, I would be put back in my place, faded, background, unthreatening. She had seen my choice as a challenge, and she had met it with a devastating preemptive strike. And she had done it with a smile, inviting me for champagne to witness my own defeat. The fury that rose in me then was white-hot and silent. It burned away the shock, the hurt, the confusion. It left behind a crystalline clarity. I would not wear the lavender cloud. I would not give her that satisfaction. But I could not wear the emerald. The wedding was in 6 hours. I stood up. My body felt heavy and charged, like a storm about to break. I walked to my bedroom and stood before the dress on my bed. The emerald mocked me, the bronze lace now looking like gilded chains. A statement, yes, but not the one I intended. I had to make a new statement, one she could not predict, could not copy. I went to the back of my wardrobe, past the winter coats, to a garment bag I hadn't opened in over a decade. I unzipped it slowly, the smell of cedar and thyme wafted out. It was my mother's dress. Not her wedding dress, but the dress she wore to my wedding 40 years ago. A simple, elegant shift in raw, natural silk, the color of clotted cream. It had long, slim sleeves, a high neckline, and was utterly unadorned. It was the antithesis of the emerald gown. It spoke of a different kind of strength, quiet, enduring, rooted in history, in family. My mother had been a gentlewoman, but unshakable. She had loved my father through war and peace, had raised 3 children with a firm, kind hand. She had never sought to be the center of attention, yet her presence was the anchor in any room. I had kept it for sentimental value, never imagining I would wear it. It was timeless. It was me, but a deeper, truer me than the woman in the emerald fantasy. I tried it on. It fit as if it had been waiting for me. The silk was soft, whispering of my mother's skin, of her embrace. It didn't transform me, it revealed me. Maeve, the widow, the mother, the gardener, the keeper of memories. It was dignity itself. I looked in the mirror. This was my statement. I would not compete, I would not scream, I would simply be, in a way she could never mimic because it was born of a history she had no part in. I carefully packed the emerald dress back into its box. I would return it to Alara tomorrow. There was no place for it in my life now. Then I did the only thing I had left to do. I called Liam.
Mom, you should be getting ready. Can't talk long. Liam, I need 1 minute. It's important. His voice shifted, hearing the tone in mine. What's wrong? Are you okay? I'm fine. I need to ask you something, and I need you to listen. I saw Celia's dress yesterday. It's stunning. I know. She's so excited you liked it. I took a steadying breath. Liam, my dress for today, I had a beautiful one planned. Emerald green with bronze lace. I bought it months ago as a surprise. I wanted to feel special for you. Mom, that sounds lovely. I can't wait to see it. You won't see it, I said gently, because Celia's dress is the exact same design, the very same one, in white. The silence on his end was absolute. I could picture his face, the happy creases around his eyes smoothing into confusion. What? That's impossible. How? The designer confirmed it. Celia saw mine after a fitting and asked her to copy it. I'm telling you this not to cause drama, my love, but so you are not blindsided. I will not be wearing that dress. I've chosen another. I will be there, smiling, and I will be happy for you. This is your day. But I needed you to know the truth because secrets like this have a way of festering, and you should know the woman you are marrying. Another long silence. I heard him exhale, a shaky sound. Mom, God, I don't know what to say. Are you sure? Absolutely sure? I wish I weren't. Have you talked to Celia about this? No, and I won't. Not today. That is a conversation for you and her if you choose to have it. Today is for vows and celebration. I just needed you to have the facts. His voice was thick when he spoke again. Thank you for telling me, for not making a scene. I love you, Mom. I love you too, my darling boy, more than anything. Now go get married. I hung up, my hand trembling. I had placed the truth in his hands. What he did with it was his choice, his first real test as a husband. I had to let it go. I spent the next 2 hours in a bubble of calm preparation. I did my hair simply. I put on my mother's pearls. I looked at the woman in the mirror. She looked tired, and there was a sadness in her eyes that the cream silk could not disguise. But she also looked resolute. She looked like a mother who would walk her son down the aisle with her head held high, even if her heart was in pieces. The car I'd hired arrived. As I stepped out into the drizzly afternoon, the gray sky seemed to press down on the elegant little stone church. Guests were milling, holding umbrellas, their laughter sounding distant and surreal. I saw my sister Margot and her family. She waved, her eyes widening in surprise at my dress. She'd expected something more dramatic, I knew. I just smiled. And then I saw her. Celia was at the door of the church's side room, peeking out, a vision in white. Her eyes scanned the crowd, looking for me. She was searching for the emerald. She wanted to see my face when she saw her in our dress, to witness the moment of my defeat. Her gaze found me. I saw the trajectory of her look, a quick, dismissive scan of the simple cream dress, then a double take back to my face. Her expression shifted, a rapid flicker from confusion to dawning comprehension, and then finally to something hard and cold. She hadn't found the shattered, humiliated woman she expected. She found a calm, impassioned one she didn't recognize. She stared at me for a long 3 seconds. I held her gaze, my face a polite, neutral mask. I offered a small, formal nod. Then she disappeared back into the room, the white silk swishing behind her like a retreat. The fight was not over, I knew that, but the first battle was. She had taken my dress, but she had not taken my power. The organ began to play. It was time.
The walk down the aisle was a tunnel of light and sound, seen through a pane of thick glass. The scent of lilies and damp wool filled the church. Smiling faces blurred on either side. My focus was on the back of Liam's head, where his hair, so like his father's, met the crisp line of his collar. He stood straight, but I saw the tension in his shoulders, the way his hands were clasped a little too tightly in front of him. My sister, Margot, my designated escort, squeezed my arm as we reached the front pew. "You look beautiful," she whispered, her eyes searching mine with unasked questions. "So serene." Serene. It was the perfect word for the facade I was wearing. Inside, a storm raged, but on the surface, I was the still, deep water of the lake. I took my seat. The music swelled. All heads turned. Celia appeared on her father's arm. A collective soft gasp rippled through the congregation. She was a vision. The white silk crepe fell like a waterfall, the bronze lace a striking, unusual contrast. It was avant-garde. It was stunning. It was a masterpiece. And it was mine. I kept my eyes on her face. She was smiling, but it was the bright, fixed smile of a porcelain doll. Her eyes scanned the front row, landing on me again. I met her look with a small, polite smile of my own, the kind you'd give a passing acquaintance. I saw the flicker in her expression, a fissure in the porcelain. She looked quickly to Liam. His face was a complex map of emotions. There was love, yes, awe, but as she drew closer, I saw the moment his eyes really looked at the dress I had described to him just hours before. His smile didn't fade, but it stiffened. The joy in his eyes clouded with a pained confusion. He glanced at me just for a fraction of a second, and in that look, I saw his heart breaking just a little. He knew the seed of truth I'd planted had taken root. The ceremony proceeded. The vicar's words about love, honor, and fidelity seemed to hang in the air with a new, ironic weight. When Liam said his vows, his voice was strong but slightly rushed. When Celia said hers were clear and deliberate, her gaze locked on his as if trying to weld him to her through will alone. They exchanged rings. They were pronounced husband and wife. They kissed, a brief, dry meeting of lips. The church erupted in applause. I clapped, my hands moving automatically, the sound muffled in my ears. The reception was at a modern art gallery, all white walls and polished concrete. It was Celia's domain. The rain had stopped, leaving a slick, reflective world outside the floor-to-ceiling windows. I moved through the crowd, a ghost in cream silk. People complimented me. "You look so elegant, Maeve. What a classic choice." They meant it kindly, but each comment felt like a reminder of the bold, colorful statement I had wanted to make, now worn by the woman holding court at the center of the room. Celia had changed into a second dress for the dancing, a sleek silver sheath, but the wedding gown was on display, hung on a mannequin near the entrance like a trophy. Guests gathered around it, admiring its uniqueness. I watched from a distance as an older aunt of Celia's gushed, "And to think, no one else in the world has a dress like this. How did you ever find it?" Celia's laugh was a tinkling bell. "Oh, you just have to have an eye for these things. I knew it was the one the moment I saw it." The poison of the lie spread through me, hot and corrosive. I turned away, seeking a quiet corner near a dramatic abstract sculpture that looked to me like a splintered heart. Liam found me there. He held 2 glasses of champagne. He handed one to me. His face was pale beneath the warm gallery lighting. "Thank you," I said quietly. "Mum?" He stared into his glass. "I saw it. I really saw it. It's exactly as you said." I just nodded, sipping the champagne. It tasted bitter. "I asked her," he whispered, his voice strained. "Just now, when we were alone for a second before the photos, I said, 'The dress is incredible, so unusual. Where did the design come from?'" My breath caught. "What did she say?" "She said, 'I had it in my mind for years. Ilara just brought it to life.'" He looked at me, his eyes wounded and young. "She looked me right in the face and said it." The confirmation from his own lips was the final sealing blow. There would be no tearful confession, no appeal to a misunderstanding. This was who she was. "I'm so sorry, Liam." "What do I do?" The question was a plea. "You've just married her," I said softly, placing a hand on his arm. "What you do now is live your life with open eyes. You build a marriage on the truth you now know exists, not the one you hoped for. It is your path to walk." It feels like a lie. The whole day feels like a lie. The day is real. Your vows are real. The person you choose to be from this moment on is real. That is what you can hold on to. He leaned forward and kissed my cheek, his skin cool. "I love you, Mum. Thank you for being you today." He drew a ragged breath and straightened his shoulders, the groom once more. I should get back. I watched him walk away, my handsome boy, now a man carrying a secret burden into his marriage. The weight of it was almost unbearable. The evening wore on. Speeches were made. Celia's father spoke of her perfection, her brilliance. Liam's best man told gentle, funny stories from their university days. Liam's own speech was short, heartfelt, but careful, his words orbiting the truth without ever landing on it. He thanked me, his gaze finding mine across the room. "To my mum," he said, raising his glass, "for always being my rock, for teaching me what real strength looks like." The words were a private message, a lifeboat in the sea of white lies. Then it was time for the mother-son dance. The opening chords of What a Wonderful World began, my choice, a song Michael and I had loved. Liam came to me, his hand outstretched. As we walked to the dance floor, I felt every eye in the room on us, on my simple old dress, on our solemn faces. We began to sway. He held me close, his head bent near mine. "She's watching," he murmured. "Let her watch," I whispered back. We danced not with joy, but with a profound, aching solidarity. It was a dance of shared history, of a bond that no dress, no deception could ever sever. I could feel the tension in his body slowly ease as we moved. This was real. This was us. For 3 minutes, the rest of the world fell away. The white dress on the mannequin, the glittering bride, the murmuring guests. There was just a mother and her son holding each other up. When the song ended, there was applause. I saw Celia clapping, her smile thin and tight. The calculation was back in her eyes. Her plan had not yielded the total victory she had wanted. She had the dress, but she had not broken me, and she had not fully claimed Liam. The band struck up a livelier tune. The dance floor filled. I retreated to my seat, my emotional reserves depleted. It was then that Margot sidled up to me, her curiosity finally boiling over. She nodded towards the mannequin. "All right, Maeve, spill it. What's the story with the dress?" I looked at my sister. I had shielded her all day, not wanting to spread the poison, but the weight of the secret was too heavy to carry alone anymore. "Do you remember," I said quietly, "the emerald green silk, the one I was so excited about, the one I said was a surprise?" Her eyes widened. "Yes? That," I said, nodding towards the white gown on display, "is it." Margot's face went through a spectacular series of transformations: confusion, disbelief, dawning horror, and finally white-hot fury. "You didn't." "I did. She had it copied after my final fitting." "That vicious, conniving—" Margot cut herself off, gripping her wine glass so hard I feared it would shatter. "Does Liam know?" "He knows." "And he still married her?" Her voice was a scandalized whisper. "He found out this morning. What choice did he have in the moment? But he knows. That is what matters now." Margot looked from the dress to Celia, who was laughing too loudly at something the best man was saying. "This isn't over, Maeve," she muttered intently. "A woman who starts a marriage with a trick like this, there's no bottom to that well." I knew she was right. The wedding was just the opening act. But I felt a strange, exhausted peace. The truth was out of its box. It was no longer just my secret to keep or my wound to hide. It was now a crack in the foundation of Liam's new life, and cracks have a way of growing, of letting in the light or the damp, whether you want them to or not. The wedding ended not with a bang, but with a slow, weary dimming of lights. Liam and Celia left under a shower of glittering confetti that stuck to their hair and coats like metallic snow. His smile was strained, hers was triumphant. They were off for a 2-week honeymoon in Bali. As their car pulled away, the remaining energy of the day seemed to seep out onto the wet pavement. Margot drove me home in a simmering silence that finally broke as we turned onto my street. "I still can't believe it," she fumed, gripping the steering wheel. "The sheer audacity! You have to say something to her when they get back, properly. You can't let this just be absorbed." "What would saying it accomplish now, Margot?" I asked, my voice flat with exhaustion. "She'd deny it, or worse, twist it into me being jealous and possessive. Liam knows. That's my victory. It's a small one, but it's solid." "Victory?" she scoffed. "She's wearing your dream on a mannequin for 100 people to admire as her own creation. She won, Maeve." "She won a dress," I said, looking out at the darkened houses. "She didn't win the day, and she certainly didn't win me." Back inside my empty house, the silence was a physical presence. I took off my mother's dress, hanging it with a reverence I hadn't felt when I'd put it on. It had served me well. It had been my armor. The emerald gown, still in its box by the door, looked like a relic from another, more naive life. The next morning, I called Alara. I told her I would be returning the dress. She didn't argue, only offered a full refund and another quiet apology. "I have learned a hard lesson about the price of a commission," she said, her voice heavy. "We both have," I replied. I shipped it back. It felt like sending away a part of myself that had been infected. I kept the receipt, the paperwork, evidence should I ever need it. The 2 weeks of the honeymoon were a strange limbo. I threw myself into my garden, tearing out the spent autumn plants with a ferocity that left my muscles aching. I cleaned the house from top to bottom. I avoided my phone, not wanting to see the inevitable picture-perfect honeymoon posts. Margot checked in daily. A one-woman support group and war council rolled into one. Liam called once from a noisy market. His voice was bright, but it was the bright of too much sun, forced and brittle. "It's amazing here, Mom. The food is incredible." He didn't ask how I was. He didn't mention the dress. We talked about the weather, the sights. It was a conversation between two actors reading from a bland script. The chasm between us, filled with the unspoken, was wider than the ocean that separated us. The day they returned, the inevitable summons came. Not from Liam, a text from Celia. "Maeve, darling, we're back, settling in. Would love to have you over for dinner tomorrow night. Just family. 7 p.m. Can't wait to show you the photos. X." The X felt like a tiny knife prick. Just family. The word had a new, hollow ring. I knew what this was. This was her next move, the post-wedding consolidation. She would present the happy, united front, showcase the proof of their idyllic honeymoon, and watch closely to see if the crack had been papered over. She would be testing me, testing Liam, trying to establish the new normal where her act of theft was the unmentioned foundation of our relationship. I replied simply, "Looking forward to it. See you at 7. The following evening, I dressed carefully again, not in statement wear, but in the uniform of a calm, unshakable mother. Dark trousers, a soft cashmere sweater. I brought a modest houseplant as a gift, something requiring care and patience. Their apartment felt different. It was no longer just Celia's domain. Now Liam's shoes were by the door, his coat on a hook, but they were like islands in the minimalist sea. The wedding dress mannequin was gone, but in its place, on a sideboard, was a large framed professional photograph of them at the altar. The dress was front and center. Celia greeted me with a kiss on the cheek. She was glowing with a tan and a veneer of newlywed bliss. "Maeve, you look well." Her eyes did a quick, assessing sweep of my outfit. Finding no threat, her smile widened. Come in. Liam's just opening the wine." Liam emerged from the kitchen. He looked tired. He hugged me, a real tight hug that lasted a second too long. "Hi, Mom. Welcome home, my love." Dinner was an exercise in surreal politeness. Celia served a complicated Moroccan tagine she'd just thrown together. She dominated the conversation, narrating their honeymoon like a travel documentary. The pristine beaches, the luxurious spa, the exotic fruits. Liam added color commentary, but his contributions felt rehearsed. He watched her, a new cautious awareness in his eyes. Then, as we ate dessert, she brought out the iPad. "Now, you have to see the proper photos," she gushed. She slid it onto the table between us. We scrolled through paradise. There they were, smiling against sunsets, swimming in turquoise pools, feeding each other exotic delicacies. The perfect couple. But as the album went on, I noticed something. Liam's smile became less frequent. In many of the later pictures, he was looking at the camera, but his eyes were distant, his expression thoughtful, almost pensive. Celia, in every single shot, was beaming, posed, perfect. "And this one is my absolute favorite," Celia said, swiping to a dramatic shot of her alone on a cliff edge at sunset, the wind dramatically billowing her gauzy scarf. It was a stunning image. It could have been an advertisement for a perfume or a luxury resort. There was no sign of Liam in it. "It's beautiful," I said. "Very cinematic." "Isn't it?" I told the photographer that was the look I wanted, a narrative. I glanced at Liam. He was studying his empty wine glass. "So, Maeve," Celia said, setting the iPad aside, her tone shifting to one of casual concern. "We never really got to talk about the wedding. Everything was so hectic. I meant to ask, I was so surprised by your dress. It was lovely, of course, but so simple. I thought you were planning something a bit more dramatic." The air in the room thickened. Liam stopped swirling his glass. This was the moment, the first probe. I took a slow sip of water. "Plans change," I said, my voice mild. "I found my mother's dress and realized it was more fitting. It felt right to have a piece of her with me on such an important day." Celia's smile was a masterpiece of condescension. "Oh, how sweet. That's so sentimental. I'm more of a forward looker myself, but it's nice you have those heirlooms." She leaned forward slightly. "You know, when I first saw you in it, I had a moment of panic. I thought maybe you'd had some sort of last-minute disaster with your original outfit." My eyes met hers. I held her gaze, letting a beat of silence pass. "No disaster," I said calmly, "just a change of heart." Liam pushed his chair back, the legs scraping loudly on the concrete floor. "More wine, anyone? I think I'll open another bottle." He escaped to the kitchen. Celia watched him go, a flicker of irritation crossing her face before she composed her features back into pleasant hostess mode. The subject was dropped, but the line had been drawn in the sand. Later, as I was leaving, Liam walked me to my car. The night was cold and clear. "I'm sorry about that," he muttered, shoving his hands in his pockets. "It's all right." "No, it's not. She's never gonna mention it, is she? She's just gonna pretend it never happened and expect us all to pretend with her?" "That appears to be her strategy, Liam. You decide what you can live with. Every day. You just decide." I touched his cold cheek. "You call me anytime, for any reason." He nodded, his eyes shiny in the streetlight. He looked like my little boy again, confused by a world that wasn't playing fair. I drove home knowing the ceasefire was over. The quiet war of our new reality had begun. Celia would continue to build her perfect narrative, and I would be a stubborn, silent fact that didn't fit her plot. Liam was the contested territory between us. The public consequence of her action wasn't a scandal or a scene. It was this: a son who looked at his new wife with wary eyes, a mother-in-law who knew her true character, and a marriage that started with a lie woven into the very fabric of its first, most important day. The dress might have been hidden away, but its shadow stretched long over their future. And in that shadow, I would wait and be present, not as a saboteur, but as a keeper of the truth, a lighthouse on a steady, unmoving shore. The months that followed were a lesson in a new kind of silence. Not the peaceful quiet of my widowhood, but a heavy, pregnant quiet full of things unsaid. Liam and Celia settled into married life, and we settled into a strained, polite rhythm. Sunday dinners at my house, now a tradition that felt more like a mandatory diplomatic summit. Celia was always perfectly polite. She complimented my cooking, asked after my garden, and talked about her latest projects at work. But her eyes were watchful, assessing. She was waiting for me to slip, to show bitterness, to make a passive-aggressive comment about dresses or originality. I gave her nothing. I was a closed door. It seemed to unnerve her more than open hostility would have. Liam was changing. The buoyant, open-hearted young man was becoming quieter, more thoughtful. He watched his wife with a detached curiosity, as if studying a fascinating, unpredictable animal. He spent more time at my house, often dropping by on weeknights with a flimsy excuse, a book he thought I'd like, a spare bag of compost for the garden. We'd sit in the kitchen with tea, and he'd talk about work, about the news, about anything but the elephant in his marriage. The bond between us, forged in the fire of the wedding day betrayal, had deepened into something unshakable and profoundly sad. The first crack in Celia's perfect facade appeared 6 months after the wedding. It was a Saturday afternoon. Liam was helping me repot some overgrown ferns in the greenhouse. His phone, lying on the bench, buzzed repeatedly. He ignored it, his hands deep in the soil. "She doesn't like me being here for so long," he said finally, his voice matter-of-fact, as if commenting on the weather. "Does she say that?" Not in words. It's the "what all did you talk about" questions when I get home, the sigh if my jeans have dirt on them, the way she'll schedule a couples yoga class for exactly the time I usually come see you. He brushed his hands off, looking weary. She wants my undivided narrative. And what do you want? I asked gently. He was silent for a long time, watching a ladybird navigate a leaf. I want to not feel like I'm managing someone's expectations every minute of the day. I want to wear dirty jeans if I feel like it. It was a small confession, but it was a breach in the dam. The dress had been the first grand lie. This was the daily grinding truth of living with the person who told it. The public consequence I had imagined, the scandalized whispers among friends, never materialized in a dramatic way. Celia was too clever for that. Instead, it manifested in subtle social isolations. At a barbecue with their friends, I overheard her telling a group about their unique wedding. Liam's mother almost wore this incredible green dress, she said with a light laugh. Can you imagine Emerald at a wedding? Thank goodness she came to her senses and went with something more age-appropriate. It would have been such a clash. The women nodded politely. One of them, a sharp-eyed friend of mine named Ruth, caught my eye across the garden. Later, she sidled up to me. Emerald, eh? I saw the photo of Celia's dress in the paper. Very striking, unusual lace. Yes, I said, very unusual. Ruth patted my arm. Some people need to own every room they're in, Maeve, even the ones they just walked into. The truth, it seemed, didn't need me to shout it. It had a way of whispering for itself to those willing to listen.
The real turning point came with the pregnancy announcement. 10 months after the wedding, they came over, Celia, radiant, holding a sonogram photo like a winning lottery ticket. "We're having a baby," she trilled. My heart somersaulted with a complex joy. A grandchild, a piece of Liam, a piece of Michael, a new little soul. I hugged them both, my eyes filling with genuine tears. For a moment, the past was forgotten in the face of this future. "This is wonderful news," I breathed. "I'm so happy for you both." Celia basked in the attention. "We're just over the moon. And of course, I've already been thinking about the nursery, a very clean, minimalist aesthetic, Montessori-inspired, no garish colors or clutter." I saw Liam's jaw tighten slightly. He'd loved his own childhood room, a glorious mess of model airplanes, bright blankets, and books piled high. "And," Celia continued, her hand resting on her still flat stomach, "it's made me think about family heirlooms. We want everything for the baby to be new, a fresh start, no musty old things." Her eyes flicked to my china cabinet where a tiny hand-knitted baby sweater, the one Liam came home from the hospital in, was displayed in a shadow box. The air left the room. It wasn't a casual comment. It was a declaration of war on the past, on my past, on his past. Liam spoke, his voice low but clear. "That sweater is coming home with us, Celia." She turned to him, her smile frozen. "Darling, it's probably not even safe by modern standards. The wool, the dyes." "It's coming home," he repeated, and there was a finality in his tone I hadn't heard since he was a teenager defying a curfew. "My dad brought me home in it. It's important." A silent battle raged between them in the space of 3 seconds. Celia, for the first time, backed down. She gave a tinkling laugh. "Of course, if it means that much to you, we'll find a place for it." But the line had been drawn again, this time over the future, not the past. Liam was no longer just a disappointed groom. He was a father-to-be, and something primal had been activated. He would not let her curate, control, and erase his history for their child. That night, after they left, I took the tiny sweater from its box. The wool was soft, faded from a pale blue to a grayish hue.
I could still remember the overwhelming, terrifying love I felt wrapping Liam in it, Michael's proud arm around my shoulders. It was a love that was messy and overwhelming and real. It wasn't a narrative, it was a fact. I knew then that the dress had been more than a dress. It had been a symptom, a warning of a soul that needed to consume and remake everything in its own image. My role was no longer about healing my own hurt or supporting Liam. It was about being a guardian of what was real and true for the next generation. I would be the keeper of the messy, colorful, musty old stories, the ones she would try to delete. The resolution, when it came, wasn't a dramatic explosion. It was a slow, steady reclaiming. Liam started therapy, he told me, to figure out how to have a voice. He began making small, firm choices. He painted one wall of the nursery a deep, cosmic blue, despite Celia's protests about it being stimulating. He brought over a box of his own childhood books to store at my house. He said, "For when the baby visits Granny." I stopped trying to navigate Celia's minefield of expectations. I simply ceased to play the game. When she made a pointed comment, I'd change the subject or answer with the benign, unassailable truth. "The weather has been mild, hasn't it?" I became a neutral country, refusing to engage in her Cold War. The healing was for Liam and me. We talked more openly now, not about her, but about him, about the man he wanted to be, the father he hoped to become. The dress was rarely mentioned. It had done its damage, but it was also the thing that had ripped the veil off a deeper truth, saving him from a lifetime of slower, more insidious suffocation. One afternoon, he was helping me rake leaves in the garden. He stopped, leaning on the rake. "You know, Mom, that day, the wedding day, when I saw you in that simple dress, dancing with me, that's the image that stays with me, not the white one, yours. It felt like home." I looked at my son, his face open and calm in the autumn light. "Home is what we're making, Liam, for you and for that baby. It doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be honest." He nodded, a weight seeming to lift from his shoulders. "Yeah," he said. "Yeah, it does." The story of the dress wasn't over. It would be part of our family lore forever, a dark fairy tale we'd all learned from. But its power to hurt us was fading, replaced by a harder won strength. We had seen the worst kind of pettiness dressed up as beauty, and we had chosen instead to value the plain, sturdy fabric of real love. It was enough. It was more than enough. So, that is my story. The story of a dress that was more than silk and lace. It was a mirror held up to the heart of a person I was about to call family. In its reflection, I saw not just my own stolen joy, but a warning of a lifetime of subtle erasures to come. The dress hangs now only in memory. Celia has hers preserved in a box, a trophy of a battle she thinks she won. Liam and I have ours woven into the fabric of our relationship, a shared scar that speaks of survival. My grandson, Oliver, is 6 months old now. He has his father's eyes and a laugh that comes from deep in his belly, a laugh no minimalist aesthetic could ever design. He wears hand-me-downs from friends, splashes in mud, and is mesmerized by the old, colorful mobile that once hung over Liam's crib. I keep the emerald green a secret from him, a story for when he's much older, if he ever needs to understand the quiet strength it sometimes takes to hold a family together. To you, listening to my voice now, I would ask this: have you ever had something taken from you? Not by force, but by stealth. A dream, a moment, your sense of self, quietly pocketed by someone who should have celebrated it. Did you feel the hot rush of injustice, followed by the cold dread of deciding what to do next? I learned that the highest road isn't always silence. Sometimes it's a quiet, unshakable truth, spoken once to the right person and then lived out every day after. I learned that you cannot control the actions of those who are small of heart, but you can choose to build your world so vast that their pettiness simply gets lost in the landscape. My revenge was not a scene, it was a life well lived. It was being a calm harbor for my son when he realized the water he'd chosen was shallow. It is now being a grandmother who offers a history richer than any curated fantasy. They say the best revenge is living well. I think the best revenge is loving deeply from a place so authentic that no one can copy it. That love becomes your signature, your one-of-a-kind design, and no one can ever take that from you. Thank you for listening. If a story like this has touched a place in your own life, I hope you found some strength in mine. Take care of your heart and the hearts entrusted to you. Until next time.